What up, John? Indoor Hydroponics, Outdoor Organics. Welcome back. Late April 2023. And when you plant your seedlings, particularly tomatoes, do they look a little something like this? Well, look, that's a nice healthy seedling right there. But in northern climates, I think if you plant them come Memorial Day, you are setting yourself way behind. Plus, look how leggy these things are. I don't know. I think it's time to pick some out and create an insane super soil, guys. Let me preface this. Don't do this. This is over the top stupid. But what I want to do is I want to create a super soil more advanced than the super soil I created a couple of years ago. And what that is it's a concentrated nutrient soil at the root base of your tomatoes that your tomatoes are going to feed on throughout the entire year. And we are going to add different types of soils and organics in there, and they're going to break down at different times and continually feed this plant. And we're going to start off with a bag of ocean forest. With a large wheelbarrow, we're going to put in azomite for minerals. And minerals, when the plant takes it up, creates taste and flavor. And that's why a lot of your hydroponically grown greenhouse, outside of being picked too early, vegetables don't taste good. We're going to go with a pint of bone meal, a pint of shrimp meal. That's a new addition this year. A pint of cottonseed meal, which is really good for vegetative growth. Love that stuff. We're going to go with a pint of kelp. Kelp is one of my favorite organics that can be added liberally throughout the year. It's a good plant-based fertilizer, but more importantly, it has tons of minerals in it and plant hormones. We're going to go with BioLive, which is a good all-purpose fertilizer, and it also is inoculated with bacteria mycorrhiza. We're going to add humic acids, which is a ancient carbon from stuff that's broke down tens and hundreds of thousands of years ago. That's good for your microbiology. We're going to go with biofish. I would have gone with just straight fish meal. They didn't have it, so I'm going with the biofish. Again, that's just dried up fish, pieces and parts, ground down. It's tasty. We're going to go with a bag of Happy Frog in there as well. We're going to go with a bag of sterile potting soil. Any kind of potting soil would be good. I would venture away from the anything that's got chemical fertilizers in it. We're going to go with a high-end compost and manure. We're going to go with a bag of lobster compost. I love this stuff. I've been using it last few years. Really good. See good results with that. Plus, like crab meal, lobster meal, shrimp meal. That's good for chitinase. Chitinase is a great natural defense mechanism for plants against bugs. More on that later. Composted biochar. That's a new addition this year, adding some biochar, which is good for moisture retention. But more importantly, it gives a home for the microbes. Those microbes are what break down your compost and organics along with the worms. And it gives them a nice little home. I like that. Remember, all we're doing is feeding soil when we're doing organics. Probably the single best natural organic fertilizer that you can add to your garden is worm casting, so I'm adding a lot this year, an entire bag. A new addition to the organic garden this year is insect frass, which is ground up beetle backs. That is also good. It's got a high chitinase in it, so more insect control plus some slight fertilization. We've got this all into a wheelbarrow, and we need to mix this really, really, really good. So take your time on this. Make sure it is all incorporated in there very, very well. Mixed it by shovel, mixed it by hand, and like I said, I really took my time on this. This is a high end soil right here. with tons of nutrients that are going to break down over time, like I said. Next up, we're going to get our cheap 2-gallon grow bags. I'm going to fold them over slightly, get them filled up, probably the bottom third. And then I do have tomato transplants early. Again, this is early, so this is late April. I've got 4-inch rounds, and I also have your standard 3-packs. So they're of different sizes and things of that nature. We're going to start off with the 4-inch rounds. We're going to upsize those. And the reason we want to upsize those and not leave them in there is we do not want them to get more root bound than they already are. So we're going to put them in this SuperSoil, and we're going to let the roots explore throughout that. This will buy us 3-4 weeks, which is really good, which should get us towards Memorial Day up in Michigan. We're going to snip off those bottom leaves of our transplants. We're going to add a couple of more ingredients in here, because if we're going to put all this stuff down, we want stuff to break it down for us. So this is a nice nitrogen fixating bacteria, really good. Takes feeds bacteria to feeds nitrogen to your plant. Probably another must have for any organic garden is a mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza, again, bonds to the root system, and it helps it helps the plant take up water, and more importantly, those broken down nutrients to continually feed that plant. When they bond to those roots, they're there for life, and they work together between soil, root. It's amazing. So I've been having unbelievable success over the last several years by putting down this mycorrhiza, and please make sure it's in contact with the roots. You can sprinkle it on, or just make sure that the root ball's in contact with it. As we water those things in, it'll kind of, for lack of better words, melt down, bond, and then all this good stuff that's going into this bag will slowly again start to break down, and that mycorrhiza will help this plant take it up. They're going to look a little goofy for a couple of days because there's going to be a little bit of transplant shock, but not terrible. Got those in, got those bags filled up about 3/4 of the way. And now we're just repeat this process until we have all of our transplants planted out. So here's like the first 8 of them, and I've got quite a big garden going this year. I think I've got somewhere between 18 and 24 tomato plants, different varieties. More on that in future videos of why I picked what I picked. I think it's really important, I want to show this, to have some sort of filtration if you're using city water. You've got all this good stuff. You're trying to build this biology and this fungi in the soil. Don't pour chlorine and fluoride on it. Do your best to get that stuff out of there. Again, cheap RV filter. Those Boogie Brew filters are really good. Just something carbon-based to get that junk out of there. Last step in the process after we're transplanted, again, a must-have in my opinion that most gardeners do not use, fish hydrolysate. That is the best foliar feed you can get. Bar none, end of discussion. I saw unbelievable results by adding that stuff. And this is the next day. Look how green that stuff turned. I know it's a little dark in there, but I got them on something to pull them in and out of the garage with. And during the days, I'm pulling these things out on the tarp. It's kind of heavy, but whatever. And then at night when it's cold, I'm pulling them back into the garage. So I did this for about 3 to 4 weeks. It was a good workout. Nonetheless, this is getting us in a really good place here where we're going to have super healthy plants to transplant way ahead of everyone else, way ahead of when you buy those tall, stringy tomato plants and pepper plants from your nursery or store, or wherever you pick up your plants. These are going to be well on their way. We're going to be picking tomatoes 3 to 4 weeks ahead of anyone else that just goes to the store and transplants direct into soil. Love this. About 14 days later, we are ready to top them bags off. You can see that they are slowly, or quickly rather, outgrowing these bags. So it's time for a good top dressing. Next video up is top dressing and planting, and then top dressing again. Don't do this. This is way overkill, way too much. Good tip here is do not like overwater these things. Just give them barely enough water. You don't even need to have runoff, okay? So these plastic bags will hold water and hold water well, and you don't want root rot or any of these things just to kind of go sour on you. Go easy with the watering. Make sure they're damp, but not waterlogged. Guys, come back later in the season. Again, we're going to top dress. We're going to plant in ground, and we're going to get rolling. It's going to be a good year here on Indoor Hydroponics. Thanks for stopping by. Peace.